Hello and welcome to part 8 of our shed construction. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, just after feeding my calves over there. And we have them in the backfield now. It's a very dry, it's the driest part of land we'd have over here. But as I say, calves are getting cold. Time for them to get in, so let's hopefully have them in here now within the next week. That's the plan. They say probably about 28 days for concrete to fully dry. This last strip here was put in about nearly 3 weeks ago now. So another week and we should be okay. So what have we done since the last one? Well, it's quite obvious to see this concrete has went in now. We're finished with all concrete. Glad to get it in. We've got a couple of days of good weather, no frost, absolutely perfect, and everything went smoothly. And we got in quite quickly one morning, and yeah, I'm very, very happy to get that finished now. So that's it. Like, the rest of things is only minor, and they can be done in any weather. At the minute, I'm old schooling it. I'm shoveling in gravel here. I've done a wee bit of it already. Not easy stuff to shovel, but I'm just kind of blending it into the edge of the concrete here at the minute. But I've the other side done as well. That's quite rough gravel, so I throw the big stones in first and then just throw the loose stuff on top of them. It's quite rough gravel. You have to pick through it, and if it was mushed up it'd be much easier to use, but it's not. But other remind little things to do. I work away at this now at my ease. No panic, we've room now to get in here with bales, and as I say, any of these gates outside and things, I'm not really worried too much about them. They can be worked on at any time. The main priority now is get cattle inside. So we have a 12-foot gate then to put on here, and we have another 12-foot gate to put on down here. Now we have a girder got, and it's actually a 12-foot girder. You probably wonder why it's so long. Well, as you can see, there's quite a drop down there to the field below. So we're going to sink a hole here, and going to sink it down a good depth. And then when the haymack is here digging out for the ESB duct, we're going to get him to drive that girder down with the digger. Just slam it down as much as he can and get right down into the channel below, and then we'll concrete it in so it's nice and solid. Not sure yet if I'll build a pier around it or just hang to get to that. I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure that out as we go along. This post is a little bit short here because that wall, there's such a drop between that wall and where the pier will be going here. So that has to be raised another foot. So it's only a matter of welding on and a bit of box iron on the bottom. You won't see it because it'll be under the ground, so it won't matter. We'll weld a piece on there. It won't be galvanized, but to say on the ground, raise it up about a foot, and then everything's good. So I'll have a bit of welding to do. I don't mind welding. I've done a lot of welding in my time, and I've got, well, not say brilliant at it, but fairly good at it. So I'll weld on simple bits of plates here, and just weld on a couple of supports then for the gates. Quite simple. So there'll be one for this side, obviously, to go over to that gate, and then one from here to close over to there. So that 12-foot gate's already there, ready to be hung. The head gate, it has to be a little bit of adjustments made to it to make it fit. The opening's wide enough. We wouldn't want the chute to be any narrower, but we have to cut off a few brackets and cut off a few bits and pieces here to get it in tight, a little bit tighter to the wall. Quite straightforward, just a little bit of work attached to it. It's going to take a bit of day to get that head gate on its own, but anyways, it's not a big issue. Once I get a bit of power or a generator here, I won't be long snagging them a few jobs up and getting them tidied up. Our wall, as you can see, our sand and cement is there. And a starter kit then to go up against the wall. Curve wall is, the blocks is coming tomorrow, Monday. So our man is ready to start. He's in between kind of jobs at the moment, and he said he doesn't mind working next week and add it. And he said 2-3 days he'll build the whole thing. It's a 4-inch block and it's flat, built to the top of that wall the whole way around. So yeah, that'll be nice to have that done. Not plastered. We'll not plaster it for a while. We'll wait till the spring has come and the weather's much warmer and we'll plaster it down. There's no big panic on plastering it. Just we'll wait until the time is right, and then we'll come along and get that done. But I say I'd like to get the wall up and get that all closed in. Anyways, we'll go inside here and have a wee look on what has been done in here. Not a huge amount as the last time, but there has been things done. Well, the gate's on. Eventually, I got that little thing that I was missing. I'm not sure what it's called, lie bolt or something like that, but it's just a little adjustable fella. Sits in there, and you can adjust your gate up and down so that it latches in nicely into the piers, which it does. I like them kind of spring-loaded latches now. It'd be interesting to see how they hold up, but I like the way they are. There's a very strong spring in them, so there's not much chance of normally getting it opened. A bit of work as well in here. I've got the box iron now at the minute, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be box iron, making up a frame the whole way across here. Probably 4 or 5 rails to go from that to that, and then probably put a couple of little box irons in between just to keep the thing nice and strong. That's going to be, there's a little bit of work in that. It's very straightforward. Just a little bit of work, a little bit of time more than anything to do it. But that's going to be done now in the next 2 or 3 days. That's vital before we get the cattle in, so it'll be priority. Then we get it painted up, obviously, and all tidied up. Door here, not just closing right. I don't know if you popped that on the last video, but as you can see, concrete was put in after the doors was done, so when you bring the door across, it hits. So it's just, all I have to do there now is I've already cut a small section with the angle grinder. I'll come over with the console, cut it out properly, and kango that wee section out, and that's it, problem fixed. So as you can see, the ESB hasn't come yet. I would have liked them to have it done, in honesty. But look, they didn't come. I know there's a couple of friends of mine who works in ESB, and if I had have asked them, they would have put a good word in and probably moved the thing on a wee bit quicker, but I didn't bother. It's not that we're in a huge rush. I just would have liked before Christmas and before the end of the year to have had that kind of ticked off and finished. You know, I would have liked to actually have the pole in at least, if we could run the duct and know exactly where it's going. We could get that topsoil all levelled out and get this all put back into some sort of shape here, and just put a couple of load then of gravel on the lane here, or 804 on top of the rough gravel, just to tidy everything up. But look, it'll be done. It'd been easier as well for me to do me a bit of welding and things if I had power here, rather than having to go looking for a generator. But sure, look, you can't have it every way. They'll come. They'll probably not be that overly long doing it when they do come. I'm not sure what the process is. I think it's a separate group that puts in the poles to the lads that put on the wire. But we have reached, I think at the moment, we're 2,300, 2,400 subscribers, which is brilliant. As you know, at the beginning, I set a target for about 1,000 subscribers for Christmas, or maybe 1,500, I think I adjusted it to. But the channel is just taken off. All positive. Everybody's positive. People are liking what the kind of content that I'm putting up. I didn't really want to have the channel just purely for farming videos. I wanted to kind of have it as showing a family, what a country family kind of spends their time doing, on farm and off farm. But it is at the minute it's nearly all cattle and machinery. Summertime will come, spring and summertime will come, and there'll be more things happening, which will sometimes bring us off the farm, maybe to different shows and things like that. And we show that we do have a life outside the farm as well. Yeah, I have to thank each and every individual who has liked, viewed, and subscribe to our channel. It's really, really appreciated. It's a real warm feeling you get when you get nice comments about things that you're doing, and that you're kind of doing something right, and that people are enjoying watching you as you do them. So it is a warm feeling, and I really, really do appreciate it. Now, I did say I'd give you a bit of information about who I am and why I farm, and I suppose where the farm originated from and things like that. So we've always been a dairy farm. My father bought this place. It would have been probably in the 50s, late 50s. This farm was bought here in the early 80s, I think 83, 84, 85, something around that. And then I just barely remember that. But it's always been a dairy farm. My father used to keep beef as well, small amount of beef cattle, and the dairy herd obviously was a lot smaller too because it was just a home farm. But then when my father retired, around 18 years maybe something around that, and I took the farm over. I took the farm over when I was about 21. It's a young age. My father had no reason really to fully retire, only he was getting tired. He had done a lot of work. He had worked in other jobs as well as milking, and he just he loves what he was doing. He didn't want to really retire, and trust me, a farmer never really does retire. My father's still active today. He's 86 years old now at the moment, and he's very, very active, and we're very glad to have him still going around, keeping us on our toes. But he retired. I took over, and I suppose I made a couple of changes straight away. I went to Ballyhaise College, done my Green Cert, got that all finished and done, and I went away then and I worked on a couple of large dairy farms, and I enjoyed that. I learned an awful lot from that, and that was a great experience. That's, you can't beat experience. You can learn things in books, and you can learn things by going on farm tours and things like that and farm meetings, but you can't learn. Nothing will beat experience. Simple as that. And I got a lot of that, and that, today, even to today, there's things I'm doing that I've learned specifically from working on them farms. Good habits, some bad habits too. We all have them. Came home then, and first thing I done was built a new silage pit. That was 2002. Our old silage pit was no walls, and you all get me. When you don't have walls, there's a lot more work into it. And I said, the first thing I'll do, right, I'll throw up a silage pit. Then, 2008, I decided I'd make the biggest investment ever made on the farm, and I'd build a new slatted shed and milking parlour all at the one time. It was a big investment, and a lot of thought went behind it before it started. But I went ahead, give it the green light, got it done, and thankfully it was the best decision I ever made. Then I suppose a lot of investments then went into reseeding and getting the land into the shape that I wanted it in, and then obviously cattle. Cattle was a big part of it. Trying to change the breeding of the dairy herd, and specifically focusing on dairy and nothing else. Our farm is not big enough to bring any other enterprises on it, so that's why I decided I'd just stick to dairy and dairying only, and that is best decision again. It's the best decision for a farm of this size. Just stick to one thing and maximise on it as much as you can. As I say, I have a love for cattle, and as I grew up as any young lad, I had a love for machinery, cattle, and just being outdoors. Not a person for being inside. I would look at TV, yes, only when I come in the evening, but I'd find that I'd nearly fall asleep on the couch after a few minutes looking at it. It's just not something that overly interests me. I like just being outdoors, anything outdoors, and I'm happy as Larry, as they say. But yeah, so that's kind of the run of the farm. We're milking now, I suppose our numbers, we're milking around 50 cows. We're kind of stuck on that number because our land really can't hold anymore. So we're at maximum what we can have on our farm. We talked about hedging and different things. I plan to plant something here, just between that tree there and down to the bottom where that gate is, just a shelter. Now, I wasn't sure. I wouldn't know a huge amount about them kind of things, but I asked for you to comment on what you might suggest, and I got a lot of suggestions. Yeah, a lot of good suggestions, and I did follow up on every one of them. I googled them and through looking at different species. I've spoken to garden centres and places like that, and I actually had one fella commented and told me about Farmer P. Now Farmer P is I think he's in I'm not sure he's in England. I actually don't know, but I have watched him. I have been watching him for the past few weeks, and he's very, very popular on YouTube. And I noticed that he is in that kind of business. And I sent him a private message. I didn't think I'd get any really response, but I was overwhelmed. He was a very, very nice man. He came back to me straight away, and he had loads and loads and loads of information of different trees that I could use. I have to say, an absolute gentleman. He didn't have to go to the trouble that he went to, but he has given me some great ideas. So any of you who haven't checked out Farmer P's channel yet, you should do so. He's a farmer like myself. He's not into dairy, and it seems to be a suckler beef style system that he runs. I've only watched a few of his videos, but in the past month, when I watch one, I seem to always watch 2 or 3 more, because his videos are very interesting, very funny, very witty. I see he has a golf course there that he's getting back up and running. It seems to be an old golf course that he's getting back up and running again on his farm, and I wish him the best of luck with that. And don't forget, maybe send him a comment or something, and and let him know where you heard about his channel. One good turn deserves another. But yeah, he's worth checking out. So at the bottom of this description, I'll put a link to his channel, and all you have to do is go down and click on that, and it'll bring you straight to his channel. There are a couple of people I'd like to thank for helping me set up this channel. I remember sending a message to Jerry6420, and I before I set the channel up, and I asked him just for a few tips on how you should set up, and what type of videos you should be putting up and things like that, because I really did not have a clue of what I should be showing or what I shouldn't be showing, or what people would be interested in. And he was so helpful. It was just brilliant. He messaged me several times with all the information anyone could ever want. So you can't beat having someone like that. I can't thank him enough. So Jerry6420 is his channel. The link is in the description. So go over there, give him a like, look at these videos. If you like them, subscribe to it. It's a great channel. If you're a John Deere fan, you will love his place. Fierce tidy, fierce good setup. The man has his art off to a T. And second of all, Farmer Phil. That's a Longford farmer. He has mentioned at the very beginning, when I was setting this channel up, one of the hardest things to do is just to get up and running. Your first few videos, you're trying to say, oh, it's not getting any views. I might pack it in. It's not worthwhile doing it if no one's looking at it. But I didn't realize the way YouTube worked, and that you had to build an audience. So I sent a message out to Farmer Phil and asked him maybe if he'd give the channel a quick shout out. Maybe I knew he had a lot of subscribers, and if you mentioned it, a few people would get to see where our channel is and know that we're kind of not too far away, and we're in Ireland as well, and that might help things out. And that's exactly what he did. He gave us a great mention on his channel, and the channel just exploded from that. Within a few hours, I think it could have been 200 to 300 subscriptions straight after he mentioned it on his channel. So people like that, you don't forget. And if I can't thank them enough. It got the thing up and running. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and it's very kind, and it'll not be forgotten. So any of you as well who haven't seen Farmer Phil's channel yet, well, you should do. Lots of stuff to see there. A variety of different things, machinery, cattle, it's all there. So I'll put a link also to the description here. You can go down and click on Farmer Phil's channel as well, and give him a like, and on both channels tell them who sent you, so that they can see that I have repaid a debt, as a man says. But no, I think everybody will enjoy their channels, and I think most of you that are watching this will probably know who they are already. So yeah, so I said I'd do a face reveal. Yeah, this is the bit that I was looking forward to. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, because then a lot of people then obviously going to know who I am, and that's the biggest part of YouTube. I suppose it's getting over that fact of people coming up to you and saying, oh, you have a YouTube channel. God, yeah. And, and you kind of get what I mean. I've had a few local people just in the last couple of weeks come up to me and say, "Jesus, I never knew you were making YouTube videos," and things like that. It's all been very positive.
So hello folks, I'm Adrian. I am the face behind the voice you've been listening to over the past few months on iFarm, We Farm. New channel, got the inspiration by just simply watching other YouTubers. And I said maybe there was a little place for a small dairy farm in the heart of Cavan to come across and show you what we do in our day-to-day kind of a routine. So yeah, we're really happy with the comments and the feedback that we're getting so far. I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. I'm part-time. Now getting part-time isn't always that easy, but it's like a hobby more than anything. So yeah, so making the videos is a lot of fun to get the feedback from people and know that people's actually enjoying or maybe learning or finding out stuff that you never knew before. Because that is basically what it is all about. There's non-farming community out there who have no experience but would always like to see things that are actually happening on a real farm, and maybe questions that they've always had which they never got answered. So feel free always to comment on any of our videos and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can and as accurately as we can to try and kind of fill in them gaps for you. So look forward to seeing you all in the new year. We're approaching it very quickly, so I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you that have subscribed, liked or commented on any one of our videos. From my family to yours, I wish you a very happy Christmas and a very happy new year. And in 2020, a lot of exciting things to come. So keep tuned and we will talk to you soon.